It's 2 o'clock, and our next committee of the day is the Public Service Committee. Those committee members are Mosley, Kamer, Holland, Lombardo, and McKittrick. All members are present whenever you're ready, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Sarah. If I could get a motion approval of our previous meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it. First piece coming before us is the ordinance authorizing the Director of Public Service or his designee to enter into a contract or contracts for the design of South Main Street Bridge located at Miller Avenue to Steiner Avenue and declaring an emergency. Mr. Lettle.
Thank you, Madam Chairman, members of committee. Yes, the bridge over the CSX tracks on South Main, this is just close to Firestone or to the new county buildings that tracks the bridge there. This bridge is in very poor condition. Years ago, we did do a deck replacement, but at this time, the evaluation was it's beyond that deck repair and needs full replacement. We evaluated 3 engineering firms, and after we did their evaluation, they're all 3 local firms. We picked Arcadis. They actually helped us develop a scope and an application to ODOT. So we did receive $6.7 million for this bridge replacement, which is a 95-5 match with ODOT. And this legislation here is just for the design of this bridge replacement. And with that, I can take any questions.
So the design of the $913,000 is coming out of the general operating fund?
Yes, that will be GO, and then the other, it's a little over a $7 million job. Like I said, 6.7 will be funded by ODOT, and this was in the capital budget.
Okay. And we're talking about the bridge.
It's almost like if you're going south, right before Church's Chicken there on the left, that bridge.
Oh.
You almost don't notice it. The road churns and elevates, and that bridge right over the tracks.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Any questions from committee members? Any questions from council? What's your pleasure?
Well, I mean, in the light of...
Can I get a motion for suspension of rules?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Next piece is the ordinance authorizing Director of Public Service or his designee to enter into a contract or contracts after publicly advertising for bids for construction to modernize the elevators in the Cascade parking deck and declaring an emergency. Mr. Lettle.
Thank you, Madam Chairman, members of committee. Yes, we're going to modernize the 2 orange and the 2 green elevators in the Cascade deck. These elevators were installed in 1967, 56 years old, original equipment. We did some minor modifications about 35 years ago to the hydraulics, but this will be a full replacement of these 2 elevator banks. There again, this was in the capital budget. We're going to bring it up to ADA. The new codes, which will be compliant with all the state codes, all the fire codes for smoke detection, ventilation. We replace all the following parts. Obviously, we replace all the non-compliant parts and bring them up to today's standards.
Okay. Any questions from committee members? Any questions from council? Councilwoman Holland.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Lettle, for the benefit of residents who are watching today, can you explain the ownership relationship of the city vis-a-vis the Cascade deck?
The ownership? Mm-hmm. Well, we own the deck. The city of Akron owns the deck, and then obviously we sell or have contracts with the adjacent property, whether it's the PNC or the Huntington Tower. They both park in there, and then whoever rents. But we do actually, the Bowery project, we have an agreement with all their tenants. They park in there. So it's got about 2,000 spots in that deck. We have plenty of capacity in both those decks. First Energy was renting a couple hundred spots that they couldn't fit in the other deck. But that is the ownership portion, and we're responsible for it.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Can I get a motion for suspension of rules?
Motion to suspend with a favorable report.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Next piece is the ordinance ratifying the actions of the Director of Public Service in contracting with Tamarios for the emergency repair and replacement of the wash bay stairs and wash platform at the Municipal Service Center, authorizing payment therefore and declaring an emergency. Mr. Lotto.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Yes, the wash bay out at Municipal Service Center where we wash off most of the garbage trucks. These steps are beyond useful. I mean, we can't even use them anymore. They're old steel steps. So we went out and got a couple prices. Tamarius was low when they bid this, and we're going to use a composite step, more of what you see. Instead of steel or galvanized, we're going to go to a composite material to help these things from going to, because they're out there in the snow and ice. They're cleaning snow trucks, snow and ice trucks, and all the salt. So we're hoping that we get a lot longer useful life out of these steps. So
Okay.
I'll take any questions.
Okay, any questions from committee members? Any questions from council? Seeing none, Mr. Little, what's your pleasure on this one?
Could we suspend the rules? We'd like to get these.
Can I get a motion for suspension of rules?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and second, all in favor? Aye. Ayes have it. Next piece is the ordinance levying special assessments for the improvement of Arlington Street between the termini of Erickson Avenue and Munson Street by resurfacing and declaring an emergency. Mr. Leto?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Yes, this was a project that we did last year, the 3.5 miles of resurfacing. So it started down there on Munson Street on North Arlington and went all the way down to Erickson on South Arlington. Like I said, it's 3.5 miles of resurfacing. We did receive grant money to do this project, about $800,000 from the Surface Transportation Block Grant. So now that the project's done, the true cost, the property owners will receive their assessment, and obviously they can spread it over 5 years, or they can just pay it once they get the bill to us.
Okay, all right.
Or we
Any
get the bill
questions
to
from
them.
committee members? Any question from council? Can I get a motion for suspension of the rules?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it. Next piece is the ordinance levying special assessments for the improvement of certain streets between the certain termini 2022 Phase 1 Partial Depth Pavement Replacement Program by repaving such streets with asphaltic concrete 402 and 404 and declaring an emergency. Mr. Leto?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Yes, this was the partial depth improvement from the 2022 last year. Now that it is complete, basically the same explanation as the last one. We will send the property owners a bill.
Okay. All right. Any questions from committee members? Council? Seeing none, can I get a motion for suspension of rules?
Motion to suspend with a favorable report.
Second.
We have a motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Next piece is the ordinance determining to proceed with the improvement of certain streets between certain termini in accordance with resolution number 85-2023, 2023 Phase 1 Arterial Collector Resurfacing Program and declaring an emergency. Mr. Leto?
Thank you, Madam Chairman, members of the committee. Yes, this is the current program. This is the notice to proceed. As you know, we had our hearing last week for the property owners. So this is to approve the recommendations by that board and to move forward with the arterial collector streets.
Okay, all righty. Any questions from committee members? Any questions from council? Seeing none, can I get a motion for suspension of the rules?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Next piece is the ordinance determining to proceed with the improvement of certain streets between certain termini in accordance with resolution number 86-2023, 2023 Phase 1 Residential Resurfacing Program, determining to proceed with the improvement and declaring an emergency. Mr. Leto?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. This is the residential portion of this year's program. There again, this is the notice to proceed to the contractor and to accept the recommendations by the Assessment Equalization Board.
All righty. Any questions from committee members? Any questions from council? Seeing none, could I get a motion for suspension of the rules?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Next piece is an ordinance determining to proceed with the improvement of certain streets between certain termini in accordance with resolution number 87-2023, 2023 Phase 1 unapproved street resurfacing program and declaring an emergency. Mr. Leto?
Thank you, Madam Chairman, members of committee. Yes, this is the unapproved portion. Obviously, we had the hearing last week, and this is to approve the recommendations and notice proceed to the contractor of this portion of the resurfacing.
Ready? Any questions from committee members? Council? Can I get a motion for suspension of rules?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. The next piece is the ordinance determining to proceed with the levying special assessments for the improvement of certain streets in the city between certain termini by providing street cleaning services and street lighting, approving the report of the Assessments Equalization Board, and declaring an emergency. Mr. Leto?
Thank you, Madam Chairman, members of committee. Yes, we had a hearing on the street cleaning, street lighting assessment a few weeks ago. This is to approve the report by the Assessment Equalization Board and to assess the affected property owners. The price of this is the same as last year. In fact, the the street lighting rate has not been increased since 2014, and the street cleaning assessment rate has not been increased since 2012. So it is the same rate for quite a few years.
Okay. Any questions from committee members? Any questions from council? Seeing none, can I get a motion for suspension of the rules?
So moved.
Second.
Get a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Last piece is the ordinance levying special assessments for the improvement of Beardsley Street between the termini of Firestone Boulevard and Archwood Avenue by resurfacing, constructing, and reconstructing curbs, concrete sidewalks, and driveway approaches, and installing roof drain pipes, and declaring an emergency. Mr. Leto?
Thank you, Madam Chairman, members of committee. This was a project that was done last year. So now that the project is complete, this is to assess the affected property owners.
All right. Any questions from committee members? Any questions from council? Seeing none, can I get a motion for suspension of the rules?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Seeing nothing else.
Madam
going-
Chair, just one thing.
Yes.
I just want to bring to everybody's attention that on the resurfacing, we usually have 4 pieces, but there was no partial depth this year in this year's program. That's why there's only 3 this year. Okay?
All right, sounds good. All right, we are adjourned.
Our next committee today will be the Public Safety Committee, and it will begin at 2:15. Those committee members are Kamer, Mosley, Lombardo, Malik, and McKittrick. Again, that's the Public Safety Committee, and it will begin here in a few minutes at 2:15. Thank you.